Hey everybody, I'm Robbie.
I'm Shane.
And in case there isn't enough of these on the internet, here's two more guys talking about Ghostbusters.
Who are you gonna call? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Real Talk, the first thing that we've put out on gimmickincorporated.com. This is something that we've wanted to do for a while. We used to be kickout2.com. That's still going to be around for a little bit, but the idea is to eventually move us all over into the new website, gimmickincorporated.com. So today we are going to start off one of our new shows that we kind of want to work with. We call it Real Talk with Robbie and Shane. So, as you heard before,
Ghostbusters.
So, how did you first come into Ghostbusters? I mean, we both liked it since we were kids. How did you come into it?
Well, probably like you. I was a kid. In school, I had to have the Ghostbusters lunchbox. That was like one of the first things I could remember my grandma and grandpa buying.
Damn Ghostbusters lunchbox. I think I've told you this story before, but I got one when I was in kindergarten, but it was the Filmation Ghostbusters. My grandmother gives me this thing, and it's like, look, it's Ghostbusters. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Not the real Ghostbusters.
No, not the real Ghostbusters at all.
So yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like, it was a weird mix. It was the Ghostbusters cartoon, it was the movies, and I'm pretty sure I saw the movies out of order. I saw the real Ghostbusters cartoon, and then I saw Ghostbusters 2. Yeah.
Well, they were happening about the same time.
Yeah.
So,
and then my mom found out that there was a Ghostbusters movie. My cousins had it, and they were kind of hesitant on letting me watch it. They were like, there's some scenes in here that might scare you, and, I'm not going to lie, the library scene as a kid, pretty freaky.
Yeah, no, some of that stuff in that first movie is pretty weird, man. Especially when you get into the terror dogs and stuff like that.
But this coming from the same guy who, when I went to go see it in Radford, the second one, when Vigo pops through the wall.
Oh, yeah?
I'm sitting there in the theater like, looking at the curtain behind me.
Oh, that was like, I remember seeing the trailer for Ghostbusters 2 when I went to see Batman. And the slime, like everything covered in slime, them coming up out of the sewers covered in slime, scared the hell out of me. And Batman, like, I had some weird things with Batman anyway. I don't know if I was just too young. I think it was about 7 when the movie came out. But, like, the movie Batman kind of put me at edge in the theaters. So that just added to it.
Right.
And I'm in the middle of Ghostbusters craze, and my parents are like, you're not going to see this. We don't want to deal with this. Yeah, Real Ghostbusters is pretty much how I got into it. I remember watching it as a kid. Those were some of the first toys that I remember having other than superpowers. Then, seeing the movie, I knew that there was a movie. I used to go to the video store and see it on the thing and be like, oh, there's Ghostbusters. Is that the cartoon? And my mom and dad were like, no. And they actually went to see it together in theaters when it came out. I was like 2 years old. And for some reason, that always stuck with me. I was like, oh, I had a connection to this even when I was young. So I've always kind of been around it. I think I might have been, it might have been a couple years into Real Ghostbusters before I ever saw the movie. Definitely before '89, because I knew it before Ghostbusters 2. I definitely saw the first one before Ghostbusters 2. So, like I said, you can easily see we've been into this since, like I said, the show started in 86, I think, so I would have been 4 or 5 years old.
I would have been 3.
So, like, probably other than DC Comics, the thing that I've been into the longest.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like that one constant when you're a kid, because, you got a show that's bright colors and ghosts and, everything. As a kid, you're going to gravitate to that.
Oh, absolutely. And because we loved it so much, we're going to get into some of our original thoughts on this remake. Whenever it first came out, because I know you're like me, the idea of a Ghostbusters 3 has been around, like, I remember hearing about it well into, like, the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
And just waiting on something new to come out. Waiting, and it almost happened, and then Bill Murray hated something, and then they hated this, and it was like...
It almost seems like it was a constant that Bill Murray was dragging his feet, and it just, always held it up for some reason. Whether he didn't like the script, he didn't like the story, he just flat out didn't want to do one.
Yeah.
So it was always... I don't want to put my finger on Bill Murray being the reason it didn't happen, but we can because and not that we hate him by any stretch of the imagination, but once Harold Ramis died, that was
it was like, this is not going to happen. A lot of people said, I've started, you've seen in a lot of these videos. To me, Ghostbusters 3 was the video game.
Yeah.
Like the video game come out, it wrapped the story up, had the original cast back.
It was set to take place in '91,
I think so, yeah. It'd been 2 years after Ghostbusters 2, something like that. So they announced this movie coming out. And some of the first things that happened, it's all female Ghostbusters. And then it's the director of Bridesmaids, Paul Feig. And I know, like we talked about a lot, the moment that happened, I was like, it's going to be Bridebusters.
Yeah, that would be like almost as if they were saying, hey, Adam Sandler, here, you're doing Ghostbusters now. Oh, okay, well, the Ghostbusters are Adam Sandler, David Spade, Kevin James.
And
Chris Tucker, because he was in Grown Ups.
Yeah. Or, we just mentioned him earlier. His daughter has a song in the soundtrack.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. Yeah, like, it's just one of those things you kind of knew what you were going to get. I remember talking about it, like, Melissa McCarthy's going to be in it. Like, absolutely 100% knew Melissa McCarthy was going to be in it, knew Kristen Wiig was going to be in it. Pretty much just looked at that and saw, okay, that's going to be in it. At first I was like, because I'll get this out, and this will come out later in the thing, I am not a fan of Melissa McCarthy. Don't like her on her TV show, haven't liked her in any of the movies. Like, it's just my personal preference. I'm not going to be, don't go into Gimmicks Incorporated says women aren't funny. No. That is the thing that I absolutely want to stop before it goes. Gimmicks Incorporated does not believe women aren't funny.
Right.
I believe Melissa McCarthy is not funny. Or at least she's just not my cup of tea. I'll be, anybody that likes her, I'm not saying, well, you're dumb and you're wrong.
If you like her, man, you do you.
You do you.
It's just not up for us.
Yeah, you don't do us.
You do you.
You do you. And so, your original thoughts on it?
It's the same, what we were just talking about. As soon as like you said, as soon as you saw he was directing it, it was like, I know, obviously, you just heard us, we love Ghostbusters. It's a thing that we were not against being rebooted.
Absolutely.
We just didn't want it to be rebooted in his hands. Now, that being said, we've talked about this before. If someone along the likes of Greg Daniels from Parks and Rec or somebody from The Office had done this, you could have done this and it would have been perfect because you would have had really funny women. Like, you could have actually picked and chosen a cast from The Office and Parks, like a weird mix of it. Like, we've talked about this. Our Ghostbusters would have been, if you want to do female, which we would have preferred a multicast, but if you're going to do female, go Tina Fey, is it Audrey?
Audrey Plaza.
Audrey Plaza, Amy Poehler.
I always throw Anna Kendrick in there because I'm kind of in love with her. Anna, if you're watching.
Anyway, use a group of people who we actually like. People who just are funny as opposed to people who, oh look, here's Melissa McCarthy being a Ghostbuster.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid it was going to be. It was going to be these people playing Ghostbuster, which, there's a difference. It seems weird because it's essentially what they're doing. It's actors. That's exactly what these four guys were doing to begin with. But other than Dan Aykroyd, I actually believe Dan Aykroyd probably has built a working proton pack and bus goes on time off.
While he's drinking his Crystal Skull vodka.
Yeah, Crystal Skull vodka. It's actually made out of the skulls of vanquished ghosts.
Yes, I get what you're saying because when you watch these original movies, you're like, see, to me, you just heard us, these were kind of some of our introductions to these actors. Mm-hmm. Like, I hadn't seen Harold Ramis in Stripes or anything like that.
Not until a little later.
Right. So you're sitting here watching, you're like, oh, okay, well, you didn't know this was Bill Murray. You're like, that's Peter Venkman.
Mm-hmm.
This is Egon Spengler. That's Winston Zeddemore. It's just, these guys were those characters. The girls in this new reboot are reboot. That's a reboot. So it's like the girls in this reboot are those girls, like Shane said, pretending to be Ghostbusters. But that's its own thing.
We'll get to the cast later. That's I know up front it's kind of seeming like, oh, they're crapping on the blah, blah, blah. No, we're not. Remember, these are original impressions.
Right.
The bad thing is we actually spent a little bit of time trolling this movie.
Yeah, and by trolling, we may go ahead and take this segment, just throw up some pictures we made.
Yeah, we're going to put up the memes on there. We both had 2 that we posted everywhere. So much so that I watched a video one time of like the top 10 Ghostbusters 2016 trolls, and I expected Robbie to be on it. So we did the nerd thing. We went into like, everything you're doing is bad. I want you to know this.
Well, it's like you said. We gave this movie multiple chances for us to like it.
Yeah, like I'll be upfront. We talked crap about it, but we were like, let's see the trailer.
Yeah.
And then we saw the trailer. And then we saw the second trailer. And then we saw the international trailer. And I didn't laugh.
No.
At all.
It was too forced. Like, it was just, oh, look, Melissa McCartney is falling down.
Yeah.
And people are being loud and just unfunny. And that's not Ghostbusters.
No, absolutely. We're going to get into the promotion of this in a minute. But, yeah, we tried. We gave it a shot. We went to see the movie. We actually just got out of it. We're a couple days late. The movie came out Thursday night, Friday. This is Tuesday when we're recording it. We saw it late for a reason. We didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So what we did, this little Ghostbusters lunchbox, you can actually go to Walmart, buy this little lunchbox for $10, and it comes with a $5 off coupon for the movie. Our local Regal Cinemas does $5 or $6 movies on Tuesdays. So we effectively paid $1 to see the movie. And I was like, you know what? For Ghostbusters, I'll plop down my $1.
Yeah.
If I'd have sat there and stewed my own resentment the entire time, it would have been worth it for $1 for us to do this. So, like I said, we've seen the movie. Mm-hmm. So, what do we think now? I'll let you go first.
Okay. So, like I said, or like Shane said, we only paid $1 for it. I would pay $1 for the intro because I was completely sold on this intro of this movie. I went in, as soon as we sat down, Regal rolls the credits, I'm like,
I think you likened it to a roller coaster.
Yeah, it was almost like the Journey to Regal.
It's funny because Roller Coaster Regal starts the roller coaster.
True. It's like, we were talking about this, and it's like the closer we got to the theater, I felt like being in line to get on a roller coaster. I was really nervous. The closer we got to the theater,
it's suddenly not seeming like a good idea. Like, where's the exit line?
You just constantly you're reevaluating every choice you made in the last 20 minutes of going to see this movie or waiting in line to get on this roller coaster. But we got there, we sat down, watched the credits, the movie rolls. You have Gabe, who, Zach Woods, who plays Gabe on The Office, opening up, doing this little tour of this mansion that they think is haunted. So it's like his character was kind of, if you've seen The Office, he was Gabe, but he was very funny in this role. And that's the first, presentation of a ghost in this movie. Like, he interacts with it. He has the typical freak out, and then it does the swirl, and it's the Ghostbusters thing plays. And you're like, this is a Ghostbusters movie.
Absolutely.
Like, you felt exactly the same way you felt when you watched either, you see the opening in the first one and in the second one. It's the same swirl, the logo. Yeah,
and even like he's looking into this doom that's happening. We're gonna try to stay away from spoilers when we can. But he's looking into this abyss and this doom, and it's like it's closing up on his face, and it's going into that beginning guitar string scratching, the opening to the Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters thing, not that god awful Missy Elliott Fall Out Boy
ear cancer
version. The song that you want, it goes in the swirl, Ghostbusters, awesome. My thing, I said it, it was funny, we were talking to one of our friends right before we went, and he was like, I have a feeling that one of you is going to like this movie. And we both sit there and we're like, no, not me. It's like, we were 6 years old and they were like, you like that girl? And we're no, cooties. I was like, I don't want the Ghostbuster cooties on me. I got the Ghostbusters cooties on me. We actually walked out, and his reaction was like, "Oh, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would."
Yeah,
and I was like, "I liked it."
For us to be who we were pretty much going to take the movie for what it was, but we were more shocked that we enjoyed it as much as we did, and that's good. That's what we wanted. We didn't want to hate the movie. We didn't want to just be hating it for the sake of hating it.
Absolutely.
If you judged the trailers, it didn't look good.
No.
But
We'll get to that.
If you want to watch the movie, don't watch the trailers. But
no,
it's
absolutely.
probably too late for that.
Yeah,
but,
they put that movie kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, I walked out. It was funny because like I started noticing myself laughing at a lot of spots, and I kind of thought that I was going to sit there the whole time, like not meaning to. I told Robbie a bunch of times, like I hope I walk into it and absolutely love it. I hope it's amazing. I didn't think it would be, but that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there finding myself laughing at a bunch of these parts, and I'm like, oh man, that was funny. That was a funny dialogue. And we'll get to it in a minute when we go through our good and our bad list. I was laughing at characters that I didn't think I was going to. I was laughing at situations that I was laughing at. The thing that got me, there's stuff in the trailers that I didn't laugh at, but in the context of the movie, I thought was like the whole the ghost on Patty's, like big dragon ghost on Patty.
All of her jokes, that
she
the
worked.
smacking the ghost out of
that
her.
Worked.
I was like, that is the stupidest thing that you could put in a movie, and then in the context
of the
movie,
it works.
The only thing in that scene that didn't really work was her head spinning around, because I'm like, at that point, your body is dead, even when the ghost
like she's still a person, and you just broke her neck, bro. And thanks. We're not going to go through a lot of the plot to the movie. Honestly, if you've seen Ghostbusters 1 and you've seen Ghostbusters 2, you know the plot of the movie.
It's like a weird hybrid.
It is.
Think about it.
Because like the mayor's, it's got that weird like mayor's assistant that hates them.
Yeah.
From Ghostbusters 2. There's a lot of stuff in there that it's the same beats. Like nobody believes them, then they do something that makes people believe them, and then kind of nobody really believes them, and then the mayor needs them, and then they fight a giant ghost. Like it's the same beats. Like that's exactly what happened. Like
it's a Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, if you saw the Honest trailer, did you see the Honest trailer for Ghostbusters 2?
I did.
Where they go through and they're like, it's the same friggin' movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a plot that works. You've seen the plot, and we'll actually get to that as well. So going into it, like I said, didn't hate it as much as you thought you would.
More like pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised. I liked it. I
didn't love it, but
but I would say, I liked it. So let's talk about our good and bad. We've picked 5 of each, so 5 good, 5 bad, and we're just kind of going to work them off. We'll start with good. We'll end, where we go there. So, first thing, number 1, good. Ghostbusters is back in the public eye. A franchise that we thought was dead and buried. A franchise that we just, thanks, Bill. But he used to do that crap to where it'd be like, oh, I don't want to be in Ghostbusters. And then you watch Zombieland, and he's in his Ghostbusters
playing a Ghostbuster.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be in Ghostbusters. And then he shows up at the Scream Awards in Ghostbusters gear, and it's like, quit sending me mixed signals, Bill.
Yeah,
it's like it's high school all over again, and I don't know whether we're in love or we're not in love, or I should ask you to the prom. I would go to the prom.
You had this guy dragging his feet, and you had this guy promising
trying to will it into existence.
This guy promises things more than Dixie Carter ever has.
He's like Peter Jackson and Dixie Carter rolled into one,
right?
And they're just like, it's happening, it's happening. It's like, no, it's not. Like, shut up. So Ghostbusters back in the public eye. We're talking about it. I'm seeing videos of little kids loving it. Dressed up in the gear.
The cutest thing was that little girl at the premiere, like decked out in a Ghostbuster gear. I was like, I have 4 nieces. Those are my nieces as far as I'm concerned. This is a new Ghostbusters for them. It's going to bring Ghostbusters back. We're going to have new cartoons. We're going to have new video games. It's back.
Yeah,
we're back.
Bad.
Well, we've said it. Melissa McCartney, we just cannot get behind her.
Yeah.
Everything about her in this movie falls flat. Her jokes are flat. Everything about her is forced. She seems like she's trying to improv her jokes. The funniest thing in the movie is when they're busting the first ghost. You have all 4 of the streams coming together. Holtzman congratulates every one of the characters. She gets to Melissa McCartney and says, you need to try a little harder. We agree.
Yeah.
You need to stop being the same person in every movie.
Here's the thing. If you like Melissa McCartney and you like her in her other movies, you like her in her TV show, you like her
in this.
You'll love her in this. If you don't like her, you won't like her. That's one of those to where she doesn't win anybody over. She doesn't do anything new. She's Melissa McCartney in a Ghostbusters movie.
But the good, on the flip side of that, is 2 that actually, in a trailer you saw Holtzman, you're like, okay, she seems like a weird hybrid between Egon and Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just got that feeling. When you watch the movie, that's exactly what you're going to get with Holtzman. To me, she's my favorite character in the movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
oddly enough, rivaled by Leslie Jones's Patty, who I didn't think was going to be like, and she was a part of the trailer that I was like, this isn't funny. I don't like this. In the movie, I think I laughed at every line she had.
Like, and the two of the Holtzman and Patty, every time they're together, you laugh. They play off of each other. They joke off of each other. It's almost to the point they had that relationship that Michelangelo and Donatello have in the first Ninja Turtles movie. It's
where
like
the movie happens around them,
it's like
and they're off in the
have their
back.
own little group. They're chilling on the side eating pork rinds, trying to just have their own little group thing going. But then when they need them as a team, they come together. It's just good. Those two, really good for what's her name? Leslie Jones and
something McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. I love those two characters. They pretty much made the movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Moving over to another bad, the gear.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the proton packs, the trap, the Ecto-1. I hated all of it.
Yeah. It's like I described it to him. It's like a weird hybrid of Ghostbusters meets steampunk.
It is, and my problem is, some of it, I'm not going to lie, some of it is I'm stuck on what the original designs were.
Yeah.
I love those designs. They're iconic. The Ectomobile is iconic. The way the outfits look. And this one, I'm like, all right, so that movie came out in 1984. And this movie comes out 32 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff looks worse.
I can take the extra gadgets like the pistols, the
grenades,
and things like that.
They did that in the video game.
Yeah, exactly. They used it in the video game, but it was all predicated on this tech. Yeah. Like, this is what it would always look like.
He's going to fall down right now.
Yeah, I know. But still, it's like everything about this design. This is a classic example of this wasn't broke, so you didn't need to fix it.
I would not have been unhappy if they'd have just pulled those out of storage. And put them back on. Which actually I mentioned to him. You see the, and I'll throw up a picture of it. You see the original, like the neutrino wand, and it's like they're holding it over top. Mm-hmm. Like it's got a handle that comes out over this big box gimmick. And I hated that. I just hated the way it looks. By the end of the movie, it's actually back to the regular neutrino wand. I actually hit him on the shoulder. I was like, dude, you notice? Like it's actually, they're holding it back here like the actual neutrino wand. But the Ecto-1, I didn't like the new. I would have rather them made it into a newer, I would have rather been like a Nissan Xterra or an SUV or something. And I usually hate that, but it's just, it came off, to me, everything comes off as poor knockoffs.
Right. And I think a lot of that could have been fixed. I'm going to squeeze this in on something we didn't address about not liking, but this would have fixed the problem with the cosmetics of the way their gear looked. This movie should have been a continuation of an already established timeline.
Yeah.
There was no reason to reboot it for the sake of rebooting. There is no reason that Holtzman, exactly, she could have been a daughter of Ray, a daughter of Egon. That would have been like a really cool throwback. It's like, hey, we're passing the torch to you girls. You are our daughters, your
Keep
friends.
Keep the disgraced scientist thing that they do at the beginning, and it's just like, all right, you know what? Nobody believes this stuff. But we're going to go in and we're going to franchise.
Or, it's like, hey, there hasn't been any activity since, you guys killed Vigo.
Yeah.
It's like this new group of people who are living in New York have never experienced this. They hear it as just stories of, oh, did that really happen? Things like that. So it's like you could have totally built this movie off the old ones, and that is probably one of my biggest gripes of, the reboot.
Right. And we'll get to that, not to cut you off, but we got that.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think that what goes into that. If you built that, then we could have seen what happens 30 years later to this gear. How does it evolve? How does it, how do you go from the Zach Morris brick phone to the iPhone? I feel like we went from Zach Morris brick phone to rotary dial, rotary phone. Kids, look it up. But that's what I feel like how the technology went. All right, so back to our third good. I thought the effects were really good. The reason I put this one on there, making certain that I want to talk about it, I see it a lot on Reddit, and I see it a lot in comments and stuff. Like, oh, it looks like crap. It looks like Scooby-Doo. It looked like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's like again, maybe that's just one of the things from the preview. But when I saw the big dude walking through Times Square, that did look like Eddie Murphy's Haunted Mansion to me.
Gotcha.
But that could have just been a trailer because they don't really go all out.
Not
with the
finished effects and stuff. Yeah.
Seeing it in the movie, it looked a lot better, especially the first appearance of the ghost up the stairs and things like that. I liked it.
No, even in the trailer, the one thing, like, I thought it was all the way back through the trailer. The one thing that always sold me is that scene where you see, usually at the end of the trailer, and it's the four of them, and they're looking into Times Square, and Times Square is all ghosty and crazy and crap like that. I thought it looked great. So that's one thing I wanted to throw in there. I never understood the hate for the effects or saying it looked like Scooby-Doo. Go back and watch the other two. They look the same.
Yeah.
All right. So our next bad.
The promotion leading up to it.
The promotion leading up to it. And I'm throwing a few things into this one. I'm throwing the trailers.
Yeah.
I'm throwing the fact that its major star, its director, and the director's buddy all called the fans out.
Yeah, that's the last person that did that. His Fantastic Four movie didn't do very well.
No.
But it is what it is.
That was one of those things. Like, to me, it was all the promotion and the narrative that surrounded the promotion. You weren't allowed to not like the movie based on what you saw in the trailer, based on its own merit. This narrative happened to where if you didn't like the movie, you hate women, you're a misogynist, and just that was the thing. And it's like, no, I don't hate women.
It's almost one of those things that makes you wonder, had it been Joss Whedon directing this movie, because he did Buffy, everything like that, you could tell he's a real, he knows how to write strong women.
Right.
If he would have done this movie, it's hard. It's one of those what ifs. It's like, just what would Joss Whedon's Ghostbusters have been?
Yeah. But even like the misogyny thing, I never quite got, because don't get me wrong, I'm not going to deny that it's out there. You look through some of the trailers, and they had some fun with it in the movie. When they're looking through the things, like, ain't no bitch is gonna bust no ghosts, like stuff like that. They had some fun with it in the movie. There definitely was misogyny towards it, but I don't think that was the overall thing. It seemed like Sony was really trying to paint this narrative of, if you don't like this movie, it's because they're women. And it's like, no, it's because your star's not funny. At least to me. I keep going back to that.
Trailers look awful.
The trailers were not good. And it wasn't perfect. And then on top of that, you've got, Melissa McCartney coming out and saying, hey, most of the people who are complaining about this aren't married, they don't have girlfriends. They don't
have regular friends.
We're man children.
Yeah.
Which this isn't helping me. These are my toys. We're in my apartment. Yeah, it's whatever.
Don't judge me.
Don't judge me. Please don't judge me. But it's just that you had the director saying things. You had Judd Apatow saying that we're all Trump supporters, which I don't quite know. It's like, you like Ghostbusters and you support Trump.
Leave the politics out of my Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I don't want politics in my Ghostbusters. I don't want controversy in my Ghostbusters.
Well,
don't add it. Don't add it where it's not there. And that was the thing that I felt in the promotion. Now don't get me wrong. There's a ton of stuff that because of this new movie, and I'll tie this into promotion. That's kind of a small bit of good. A lot of Ghostbusters crap has come out recently.
Ecto Cooler.
Ecto Cooler came back. You got those. They released the Mattel Ghostbusters figures. Finally got released in stores.
Yeah.
I've got the Diamond Select ones, but those are back out.
There's tons of back to school supplies. Again, this is the whole bringing it back into the public eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, so
because this simple, solid black Ghostbusters logo doesn't say which Ghostbusters it is. It kind of like the merchandising works. I have an argument with High C's distribution.
Yeah.
Because I would like to go to the store and buy some Ecto Cooler and not have to order one case on eBay or on Amazon like I'm Ray in Star Wars and I get my 1/4 portion of Ecto Cooler.
Yeah, it's like, this is all you can have.
Yeah, it's like, no, I will sell you BB-8. Let me have the 64 portions of Ecto Cooler.
Yeah,
Let me
and
have it.
honestly, it needs to not just be a limited edition.
No,
thing,
absolutely. Bring it back.
I have not purchased High C since
Ecto
the
Cooler
original
went out.
Ecto
No,
Cooler
I have no
left
desire
stores.
for it.
So that's the flavor of High C.
Yeah, it's probably radioactive, and
Yeah.
we're all gonna die because we drank it. But damn it,
It gives me that tingly feeling.
yeah,
It's the
yeah,
radiation.
that's the radiation.
Watch it, you'll like it.
Yeah. You mentioned before, good, the opening sequence, and you mentioned why you like. To me, we got to reiterate that opening sequence made it Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
It made it feel like Ghostbusters. It's like, oh, well, we're gonna deal with. It's Ghostbusters.
You went in with reservations. The minute you watch that opening sequence, you see the swirl, you hear the riff, you're going to be okay.
Yeah,
you're going to have a good time.
Yeah. The bad, we talked about it a little bit. We would have liked it a little bit different cast. Even though I've got. The funny thing is, like, I love Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them.
Oh,
and
yes,
I would have rather, Melissa McCarthy, I'm not going to go on about it anymore. You know our feelings. Kristen Wiig did nothing for me. She wasn't good. She was actually pretty good. I'll take it back. She was actually pretty good in what she did.
Right.
Maybe it was just the way they wrote the character I didn't like, but I don't feel that she added anything.
The type of character she played, that, like I said, that would have been my Amy Poehler replacement. Mm-hmm. She should have played, like, I think her in that character and the way she acts, like, just her demeanor, I think it would have carried that role a lot better, because she was just kind of there, just kind of like, Kristen was just like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Please take me seriously.
Yeah, and
not as an actor, that's part of the movie, but
yeah, just something about her character just fell flat.
Yeah,
it's like you could have taken her out of the movie and it probably would have worked.
Yeah, so I think also, like, not just saying like, oh, it should have been I would have liked. We both talked. I would have liked a mixed cast. I would have liked men and women. I think that would have killed some of the controversy. Because to me, I feel that making it 4 women was just saying, well, it was 4 guys, now we're going to make it 4 women. I never saw it as, well, it's 4 guys and Ghostbusters is only a guy's thing.
Yeah.
And no, I never saw it, though. It just, those 4 happened to be who was in the movie. They were buddies. They made the movie together, which is essentially what happened here. But so much of that controversy came out of it that I think it would have worked. And plus, I don't know, the fact that we got a new Ghostbusters movie and it didn't have Paul Rudd in it will always hurt me.
Yeah.
I always thought that he should have been the Venkman character in a new Ghostbusters movie. And that's also, like, this movie didn't have a Venkman character.
No, it's like I said, Holtzman was like a mix between Egon and Ray.
Yeah.
But again, that's if you have...
Patty very much works as Winston.
Yeah.
The not in her element.
That's why I really feel that Aubrey Plaza could have pulled off the Venkman character perfect.
Need somebody
like,
really sarcastic.
She's just so snarky. She's just awesome in Parks. Like I can just sing the praises of Parks all day long. But again, like even Paul Feig had a hand in some of the Office episodes.
Right.
So again, this is not just a total hate on him. It's just like it's almost like he wasn't a fan of what has come before. Like on a personal level, but he's like, hey, this is a franchise I can get paid for. Let me like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going into our last bad, which is that it followed along a little too closely to what's come before it. We mentioned before that it's a Ghostbusters movie, and it pays a lot of homage to the original Ghostbusters. But I don't understand, like, it seemed very much like they wanted to say, this is its own thing. Don't judge this based on this thing that happened.
Yeah, but
judge it on what it is. But then it's constantly saying, remember this? Remember this? The thing that got me isn't as bad as Jurassic World. Jurassic World was egregious for that. Like, Jurassic World was, they even at one point were like, remember that first park? Man, it was awesome. And there's so many times like, remember that first movie? You loved it, right? Remember? It was awesome. This is that movie, kind of like it, maybe. This movie had a lot of that. It had a lot of throwbacks and a lot of reaches that in some ways moved past fan service to be like, remember that other movie that you really liked?
It's almost an advertisement for the old Ghostbusters inside the movie.
Kind of, yeah. So I would have liked it actually to win, not follow that Ghostbusters formula. Surprise me, throw me a couple wrenches in there. Which they kind of did going into the second act, the whole Rowan thing, the way that he kind of works, that is new.
Yeah.
I did like that. I thought that was neat. But, you know, for something that wanted to be its own thing, so much so to completely revamp it, but then to follow every single story beat. And the last thing, the ending on good, we've talked about this before, but it felt like a Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah.
The tone, the feel, the atmosphere to it felt like Ghostbusters. And that's something that is hard to get.
Yeah.
There's been Ghostbusters stuff that hasn't exactly felt like Ghostbusters.
It's like
So,
there's a few, and by few, there's a lot of jokes that just kind of fall flat. But again, I think that's just the actors that we don't like seem to keep forcing their improv. Yeah. And, you know, it's like you have Holtzman and Patty who just, it's almost like their comedy is more organic. It just flows. Like, everything about that, like...
And that's why the first one worked.
Yeah, and you have, Bill Murray playing off Dan Aykroyd so perfect. It's on that same level. Like, they just work so good.
I think, going back to my thing earlier, I think it would have worked... The dialogue, some of the jokes, I think if you had the sarcastic character playing off of the rest of these kind of super serious characters,
oh yeah,
that would have helped it. But and it's kind of bad because we went back into this is why it's not. But no, it felt like a Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah,
that was the best thing I can actually say for it. So wrapping up, do we recommend the movie?
I would not pay full price for the movie if you are a fan of the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, if you're, I'll say, I'll take that one for it. If you're like we were to begin with, and you're like, I'm going to hate this movie, this is the stupidest movie ever, you've been trolling this movie, stupid Bride Busters movie, yeah, don't pay full price for it.
No.
Go get one of these, because you're going to like the lunchbox. Go buy a copy of the first movie now.
Yeah, there's
go buy it for $10 on Blu-ray and get a $7 coupon. See it cheap. See it for $1. See it for $2.
Matinee. I mean, a lot of theaters have the discount like ours. So,
yeah. If you're already on like, oh, this kind of looks good, yeah, go see it. Go pay full price. You're probably going to anyway. But if you're like us and we're like, I don't want to see it, no, go. Pay $1 or $2. Go buy one of the gimmicks. Go buy a copy of the first movie. Buy a copy of the first movie on DVD for somebody that's never seen the first movie.
Yeah, you're going to have a fun time with it. It's clearly not the worst movie ever made.
No, absolutely not. That was The Marine with John Cena. Hopefully, from what it seems like, I think the controversy hopefully will die. I did see that Leslie Jones posted that she left Twitter because of like hateful and racist comments. That's crap because she was, to me, she was without a doubt the best part of the movie.
Like you said, every time she says something, you're laughing. You're having a good time. Absolutely. She's just like that person that you could hang out with.
She's your Winston from the thing. That role is supposed to be the outside.
I'm gonna say it. I think some of the things that she said in the movie were funnier than some of the stuff Winston said in the original.
Yeah, because Winston only gets a couple of the scenes.
Winston's just chilling most of the time.
He is.
It seems like Leslie is like always there, making her
always
comments.
On, always funny. Yeah, Winston's got like a couple of the things like the.
These things are real. Since I joined these men, I have seen shit that'll turn you white.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, but.
It's not so much of what we were saying about having, another Venkman character, but when she is there, she's always firing. Like, she's just good.
That's another thing. Like, going into some of the controversies people talk about, like, oh, why does like her being black was a thing. Like, why the black person can't be the scientist, the black person can't be blah, blah, blah. They make no bones. She is all over this movie. She comes into the movie way earlier than Winston does in the original. She plays way bigger parts than Winston does in the original. So much so, like, I remember when Ghostbusters 2 came out. Because if you've seen, I'll throw a picture of her, you've seen the box, the original one sheet for Ghostbusters. It's just the 3.
Right.
And then you get to the one sheet for Ghostbusters 2, and it's the 4 of them in the gray suits in front of the Ghostbusters 2 logo. I remember seeing the poster, or seeing the trailer, and my dad actually goes, oh, they put Winston in this one. Like, he saw the movie in the theater and had forgot that Winston was even in the first movie.
Oh, wow.
No, don't get me wrong. My dad is not a sci-fi guy. It's not
Right.
really like stuff like that. But like so much so that and this was only like this was in '89, so it's only 5 years from the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like knew it from the cartoon. It's like, oh, they put Winston in this movie. Like he thought he came in the cartoon. So it almost kind of goes to show you, as much as I said, like he's kind of a forgetful character in that first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love him, but you know, he kind of is. And Leslie Jones is all over this movie.
Not that we're hating on Winston, because man, it's the same thing. When he has his jokes, they work and they fire great. It's just he doesn't have as many as Patty does in this reboot. Like,
yeah, no, they make certain she's fully integrated. She's in the team. It works. It's great. So hopefully that'll kill off some of this stuff. If you're one of the jerks out there tweeting Leslie Jones mean crap, don't stop it. Delete your Twitter. Go look at puppies for a while. Like, do something that brings joy into your life, because that sucks. Other than that, like, I'll probably buy the movie on Blu-ray. Black Friday, $4. I'm not running out to get the SteelBook. I say that until they. Oh. I say that until they announce the SteelBook, and then I'm like, oh, SteelBook. But Fantastic Four.
if it's just the logo, that would be cool. You know,
If it's
like
just the black
if it's
logo,
this
I will
as a
buy
still-
2 of them, and I will put the original Ghostbusters in one of them. Those Ghostbusters covers, they keep getting them wrong. This, black logo. That's all you need. Can't see all of it, but black Ghostbusters 2 logo for the sequel. Doesn't need anything more. So, like I said, go into it. Go see it for cheap. Give it a shot. Maybe you'll come out like us.
Yeah.
You'll like it. Or you at least won't hate it. So, until next time, I've been Shane.
I've been Robbie.
And this has been Real Talk on GimmicksIncorporated.com.